the most annoying thing.
Yeah, that's definitely
Yeah.
annoying.
It's for
Yeah,
people who don't
it's
have
good
their
that you
VR.
asked.
Cool. Everyone hear me?
Yes, but I think you can amplify yourself to be loud at every
I'm
part. On your right?
amplified, I believe. Microphone, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
Yeah, so let's give a few minutes. Let's give a few minutes for people to join, and then I'm going to introduce the gathering. Everyone here, I believe, is new. I've done 100 VR meetups, 20 of this format, which is the mastermind format, and it's really like it's a vehicle for us to connect with each other more than like me to broadcast anything. So we have this kind of moderated conversation where I go through and give everyone a chance to speak. Go up. JP, where are you at?
I am right now. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice,
I'm in Atlanta, not in Miami right now.
Daniel, what about you?
I'm here.
NED?
Calling in from Dubai.
Oh, it's you. There's it. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
We wanted to,
Good.
support Alex.
Good. Thank you. Okay. Giuseppe, come sei?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. I'm on 2D today just because I'm going to be doing a little bit of. I might take a look, some notes or anything, but I do actually have like a VR headset, so I'm normally in. But yes, my name is Giuseppe. I'm from Link to VR. We've actually done a few events in AltSpace VR before, so I'm very well aware of a lot of the logistics that go behind it. So I gotta say, I'm very impressed with the setup you guys have here.
Yeah, thanks to my new friend. She also spins sometimes in this
Thanks,
location.
Ozzy.
So it's like a nightclub as well. So
Oh, very cool.
yeah, we had another
We're gonna have an after
location.
party.
Yeah, there was another location, but I thought it would be like a little bit too much even for some newcomers, because there was like a lot of stuff and some costumes you could take, try on, and some other stuff. Drinks are fine. I think we can prepare for the next jump, warp jump. So enjoy this one.
Very cool. Yeah.
Okay. Ozzy, where are you hailing in from?
I'm from the Caucasus. It's Vladikavkaz. It's an area close to the mountains. So, yeah, enjoying some warm days because it's winter all over the Russia and to the north. But here it's still nice weather.
Nice. Andre just joined. What's up? He made it. Thank you. Thank you for joining. You guys know Andre, right? Hands up, who knows Andre?
I don't. It'd be nice to meet.
I think he's on mute.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. So far, I was talking to myself. Yeah. Nice to meet you guys, and thanks, Alex, for organizing this. I also took liberty to invite a colleague of mine, Michael Barngrover from XR Crowd, but I think he's not here yet.
Grab a drink, Stephen. Help yourself.
Excellent. Is he coming? Hi.
You get a 50% discount since you're from Meta. Viola, whereabouts are you?
So, yeah, my name is Viola and I come from Kelheim, from Germany. And it's a little town near Munich. And let's have a look what I can do for you, perhaps, or what's going on. I'll be full of joy being here and.
Oh,
I told
Alex,
you, yeah.
what just happened?
Vomiting
Alex,
part.
hey, go into the back room. There's a
Oh
bathroom
my
over
God,
there,
I'm
guy.
so out of control, people.
Yeah, there are bathrooms on the left and the right.
What happened? I'm so sorry to interrupt you while you were speaking. And what the heck just happened to me? That was so weird.
Yeah, it is a fun part about
I think-
VR.
I
Sorry
think
for
you've had enough
interruption, Viola.
drinking, man.
The drinks come with vomiting part, so if you drink too much, happens what happens.
I'm gonna put my drink away.
Too much for you, right?
I guess so. I'm a lightweight these days.
Yeah, thanks
Well,
for sharing,
I guess I'll
Viola.
get-
I think we'll come back to what you could do or what you could get here, so a little bit later.
Thank you.
Yeah, so as we're approaching up to the 10-minute mark. Okay, so I think we can. So we were just doing the geographic intros. Okay, let's kick off now with the company intros. We'll start with Alex, who was the last person to go. Would you like to share a little bit about what company you're working at and what is your current focus right now? Before we do that, I'll just give a little primer, the structure of the event. It's what I call moderated conversation. What we're trying to do is like surface each of our priorities and main challenges right now, so that if any of us have some like easy answers to those things, we can get them out in the open and share them with each other. So it's really about interconnecting us and sort of like forming hopefully like relationships between ourselves. And to give a bit of background, we've done around 15 of these with Stephen McDonald's main support. So like I pitched Stephen this idea. He's he's running Meta for Business, and I was like, guys, they're running the community there in a workplace, in a Facebook workplace scenario, and I'm like, guys, let's meet up in VR as an initiative. And Stephen was like, sure, go ahead, let's do it. So we did like about 15 of those in VR, and then it was exclusive to the ISV. Now I've been exposed to the community over this year. I've been to AWE Santa Clara, AWE Lisbon, NFT NYC, VR Days Rotterdam. Now I have a whole bunch of friends from the real world, so I'd like to merge these two communities, and that's the idea. So over to you, Alex. Do you want to share a little bit about who you are, what you're working on, what your challenges are right now?
Sure, I'll try to do that. Okay. Very nice to meet everybody here in virtual land. I have a hard time saying the metaverse. That word drives me a little crazy. Just saying. I met Alex at AWE. My car got broken into when I drove to San Francisco, and my sunglasses got stolen. And Alex gave me his fancy Facebook Ray-Bans to wear that weekend. So I knew he was a great guy right off the bat. I've been involved with spatial computing specifically since around 2015. I led spatial at REI, the outdoor retailer, where we did lots of cool proof of concepts and a couple things that went live, like AR tents and also reality capture with spatial scans of our retail stores. I'm now at Blue Origin, the rocket manufacturer. I lead augmented reality for manufacturing, primarily using the HoloLens 2 and like an MRTK workflow through Unity, as well as reality capture with the Matterport. So I'm creating digital twins of our facilities and embedding spatial data in them. All of this is to improve safety and optimize manufacturing. That's what I'm up to, people.
Nice. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
That's like pretty impressive, intense position. What would you say, to put you on the spot, what are your main challenges right now? What is holding you back, or what are you finding as your main obstacles?
Gosh, there's so many solutions is begging for for my attention, and there's not enough of me to do them all, I suppose. I regularly put in 12-hour days. I just absolutely love what I do. I can't get enough of it. I wish, you know what, here's a real problem. I wish there was a better like digital thread. We use a PLM solution that from PTC, and the way that we have to decimate models and all the steps in between taking CAD rendering and publishing it for an internal client to use is such a fragmented workflow. I wish that there was a more streamlined approach to do what I do. So there's a serious problem there besides being so busy with lots of amazing opportunities.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for sharing.
Welcome.
I have no clue. I have no clue about what you just said there. Does anyone know what he's talking about? That's a pretty intense one, Stephen.
Can I just quickly try to explain? Because I think it's interesting. Companies
Okay.
like Blue
If you want, I can load something on the screen as well, if that helps.
I don't have anything to load. Do you mean that you would just open to share that's on the web or something?
I could Google something or something, but like otherwise, just go ahead.
I'm just gonna go ahead. So we have tons of 3D models. Everything has a CAD model, and we also have manufacturing designers building stuff and iterating rapidly on those CAD models. And if we're viewing AR on the HoloLens too, unfortunately has a 100,000 polygon limitation, and it's probably one of the best headsets for AR. I guess in Magic Leap 2, people can argue and go back and forth there. Physical to virtual alignment being accurate, which is key for AR in the workplace. Anyway, to import the model from our solution, which actually it's called Windchill, and it's a PTC product. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They have lots of spatial solutions out there. Anyway, for me to take that model and then view it in AR in the headset, there are a number of steps. First, we have to bring it into Unity to build the experience, and then we leverage a plugin called MRTK. Then we have to decimate the models to make the file size compatible with the limitations of the HoloLens. So all of that there's a lot of steps there. It's not just a quick thing. It takes like a week to build and get it ready. I wish I could just iterate faster. So we call that the digital thread, and it's very fragmented. So there's my story for you guys. There's a small violin playing for me, and I'm excited to hear what other problems you guys have.
Yeah. Okay. Before we share everyone's problems, what are your priorities and what's exciting you at the moment? Just to keep it on a positive note as well.
Totally good
what's
call.
inspiring you?
Gosh, what's inspiring me? Know how I introduced you to Joe from NASA? What inspires me is the brilliant people I get to interact with, and then sometimes play matchmaker and introduce one person to another who I know they could go off and build something exciting together. So meeting people like you in a space like this today is probably one of the most exciting things for this technology that I'm incredibly passionate about. So
Thank you. Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
He dropped my most exciting thing as well there, which is our collaboration VR Workout plus NASA. I'm not gonna go into it. I'm gonna just tease you with that for now, and then I'm gonna keep moderating. Okay, why don't we go over to Steve? Steve Oculus, Quest for Business. Welcome. Right. What's been going on in your world? What would you like to share with everyone at the moment?
Yeah, so Steve McDonald, Meta, part of partnerships and particularly working in the future of work team. So most excited about the fact that we're heading towards our open beta of Quest for Business launching January, February next year, so in the first quarter sometime. So really, going to a solution that I think is going to unlock scale. I don't think we're they're feeling like everybody's ready to go to scale, but giving people this ability from any consumer device, any devices that they purchase, to be able to turn on things like MDM and management. I think we sort of start introducing more, I guess, responsibility and more thinking about how is this going to become part of the organization. I mean, not that we have to introduce it, people are pulling for that, people want that. So very active sort of addressing that need. So I think that's the big thing for us, it'll be exciting to get back to having a commercial product. We've been missing that for a little bit. So I think it's going to be a big moment. The ISV program will get relaunched in the new year. So really a lot of exciting things for me. It's going to be a busy year, kind of telling stories about solutions, helping people understand that ISVs are the channel as we sort of start selling into more and more into enterprise and work. So big year, very exciting. Lots of stories to tell, I think.
I can imagine. Thank you for sharing. So what you're saying is Quest for Business was suspended for a while?
No, I said Oculus Business was the product that we shipped in 2020, stopped shipping at the end of 2021. But we haven't had Oculus Business for a while.
Okay.
I mean, happy to kind of go through what Oculus Business was. Oculus Business was our first kind of experiment addressing work in VR. But it was really before the metaverse conversation, frankly. Our metaverse conversation. And I think we ended up introducing a product that imagined a late stage. It really was very tops down, very sort of CTO's office, a lot of admin responsibilities. It didn't really address where we were at the time, what most of the use was at that time, and still today, is POCs, as people sort of start experimenting, starting to understand what you can do in VR, and what are the appropriate things to do today, what are we going to grow into over the next few years, as we get better processes, as we're about able to render better models. These are all challenges today. But there's a lot of value in VR today, a lot of things people can really get a lot of ROI out of. So, now's the time to start telling those stories, getting people investing there, as over the next few years we provide better and better mechanisms to address scale.
Awesome.
Nice. Thank you for joining, and I'm looking forward to hearing more from you on this forum and other forums. And everyone, if you want to be a part of Quest for Business, what's it going to be called?
It's the Meta ISV program. So if you just go to the Meta ISV program, search for that.
If you're building for business users, then definitely apply to that and join the community there and everything. This is like a very small offshoot of that program. Stephen,
to date has largely been mostly just a community. What we're doing next year is really putting it onto a partnership kind of a footing. And so really ISVs are going to be part of our channel, getting ISVs to work with channel partners, working directly. And I think that's the way we're going to be telling more stories.
ISV stands for Independent Software Vendor. It means people producing software with a business application enterprise use case. Okay, thank you. So moving on, okay, I'm going to go to my left here. So we have two people from Hartman Capital. I think JP, you want to kick off? What's kind of exciting you? What's holding you back right now? What are you working on? Who's Hartman Capital, etc.?
Yeah, sure thing. Thank you, Alex, for putting this all together. And the introduction. It's nice to meet everybody. So I'm JP, and I'm with my coworker here, Daniel, and we run the venture side of Hartman Capital, which is Hartman Metaverse Ventures, where we are actively deploying into virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed experiences, as well as tangential tech, including AI and some Web3 applications. So where a lot of our headspace has been for a better VR adoption and moving out of the esoteric crowds to being the status quo for people to interact with each other online. And we're starting to see the specifics of this recently. And actually, kind of like Steve was talking about for Meta for Business, I guess something we've really been focusing on. We actually deployed to Shapes XR, which is a company I think you guys are familiar with. And so we are, just focusing on investing across the space, not sector specific, but also including games, other experiences. Like really interested in what Alex is working on. But we actually met in real life whenever I was testing the VR workout, and so we're looking for more content within VR and tech that supports it. So that's really where our headspace is right now.
Nice. Okay, and so thanks for sharing. Let me point you on to something specific. What is holding you back right now? What is your main obstacle to getting what you want done?
Yeah. Okay. Well, if we're at the firm level, there isn't too many obstacles, but it's really moving content quality where a lot of the best quality content right now is still locked by PC VR in terms of graphical fidelity and physics and typical gameplay loop. But we're starting to see this now happen more on Quest, right? Like sometimes Quest applications have 10 times the amount of users compared to a Steam VR user. So as we're seeing standalone hardware pickup and other solutions such as cloud rendering come into market, I think we're going to start to see a lot more adoption in this space, as well as also things regarding headset comfort, battery life, some of the physical limitations, the spatial limitation. So really removing the friction points for VR. This is actually something we were discussing earlier, is that currently, if you think about the tech from an entertainment stack, VR is one of the highest points of friction, right? Where it's this level is going off of something like social media, like opening up your phone, going to TikTok or Instagram. That's typically the status quo, and then you can move up to mobile games, and then or social media experiences, and then PC, flat-screen games, and console. Now we think VR is one tier above that right now, but standalone VR is still a massive progress loop below where PC VR is, right? Because of that, you're at a $2,000 price point of buying the PC, being tethered, having the location. So we think as standalone becomes more popular and the rendering quality and fidelity of standalone gets better, that'll bring a lot forward in the market.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is that your main obstacles right now you're feeling are mainly around industry progress and uptake kind of thing, right?
And public perception as well is another point I want to highlight on. Is I think a lot of non-VR users do not understand just the intuitive beauty of being able to spend time together digitally, right? If your whole experience is your schema of interaction where you are texting with somebody, right, or maybe FaceTime, people who have not used VR do not realize just how social it is, how expressive it is, that you can make eye contact with people, that you can connect, you can read body language. That is absent in a lot of minds. As well, I think a lot of people have this sort of nihilistic doom and gloom perspective on VR. They think about it in a Ready Player One scenario. It's like where you live in the pod and then you spend your whole life in it, rather than VR being this life-enhancing technology that enables connectivity. So I think as we can start to move public perception to say, hey, this is actually the most human-related technology we've seen in our lifetimes, rather than this terrible dystopian future, which I really don't think it is. I think that is something that can really drive adoption for us.
Guys, can everyone see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Check this out, guys. Check this out. This is JP trying VR workout, by the way. Hold on.
Calling me out here. What's his number I'm seeing on the screen? Points?
Oh, wait, that's not the final cut. Can you hear the audio?
Yeah. Someone's out of breath.
Yeah, so we're hanging out in this lobby in Miami, and Alex like, hey, you want to come try the product? I'm like, sure. So we're in this public space, and I had no idea the level of physical workout I'd be going through. Alex put me through the ringer right here.
Was he on hard or medium?
Say it again. I heard a question.
No, I was just curious. Was it medium or hard? Because running is like a little complex. Yeah, you have to really, lift your knees and all that.
Yeah, and I'm like in pretty good shape, and I'm thinking, I can handle it. Medium will be a walk in the park, and Alex is like, all right, get on your knees. You're doing push-ups. You're jumping around, and by the end of it, I was like sweating bullets.
Yes.
Nice. So I couldn't resist the plug there, the little plug and little intro to JP there. Daniel, like anything to add to JP's answers from your side?
I think
You're in Dubai.
Great summary. Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I mean, it was great summary. And also, I think VR, especially, like, I can add that it helps me and my coworker JP a lot, like, to also connect on a deeper friendship level. Like, for example, we enjoy really contractors VR and so on. So it's really a great tool, and as he said, like, really enhancing. And yeah, you like on a different level than maybe like a Zoom call or so. So yeah.
Yeah, that really is a great point that Daniel brought up, is that Daniel's in Dubai, I'm in Atlanta or Miami. And so obviously we got a lot of distance between us, but he's the person, probably other than my girlfriend, I spend the most time with on a consistent basis. And in order to get that spatial awareness, we spend a lot of time together in VR. So we have this almost illusion of, working together, spending time together. Most of the meetings we do, we will go into different VR experiences and meet in there to get that interactivity. Yeah. That's really a cool feeling, because we never feel too far away from each other.
I find that mini golf VR walkabout is the most like mafia kind of old boys gentlemen's club vibe for a meeting. You're sitting there playing a bit of golf. It's super. You feel really important. Yeah, even if you're cartoons.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on. Thank you for sharing, guys. Giuseppe. Over to you, sir.
Sorry, I had a phone call. I will say this, one of the things that I definitely like about Altspace, I'm not sure if any of you noticed, is that little title screen feature, so that if you have to like hop for a minute, you can kind of, instead of having your avatar just kind of like hanging out and people like wondering if they're AFK or not, having that title screen to just kind of pop out for a second and pop back in, it's probably one of my favorite features of Altspace. So, but anyways, just wanted to kind of say that. So yeah, so my name is Giuseppe. I'm from Link to VR. Our company, Link to VR, is a virtual and augmented reality business solutions company. So we kind of specialize in helping organizations kind of implement VR and AR solutions, whether that's augmented reality apps or even some of the virtual events that we've done with some of our clients. They've been kind of private events, so I have to be careful what I say, but I can say that we've so far, I think the largest event we've hosted in Altspace was 400 users. So all of which were attending via headsets. So one of the objectives we've had is just kind of helping with some of the organizations we worked with, kind of seeding some virtual headsets into their company, just so that even if they're using them right now for just a specific purpose, like Altspace VR, there's also other use cases with VR, and one of the analogies we actually use with our clients, because a lot of them kind of get this like idea that like VR is a very much like it's a gaming experience, or it's kind of like a one and done, like, oh, you do this one thing with it. What we like to tell them is it's a little bit like saying you go to the movies, there's only one type of movie you can watch, when it's like, well, there's comedies, there's dramas, there's thrillers, there's horror. Like when you go to a movie theater, you don't just only see one kind of movie or even one movie. You can see hundreds, thousands of types of movies over the years. And we like to try to tell people, get that across to our clients. Like, just because you've done one experience in Altspace VR, there's so much more to it. There's so much more to just the headsets you're using, whether, the MetaQuest or HTC Vive. Those headsets, they are gateways to the virtual world, and there's just so much more to it than a lot of people realize.
So I have a question for you regarding that.
Yeah, of course.
And with adoption and introducing more, and I like that analogy that you shared with the movies. Is one issue that I run into people when talking about VR is, you have someone that gets a Quest either for themselves or they have a gift, and they start with something like Beat Saber, right? And they have the novelty, the experience. Yeah. Oh, it reminds me of Guitar Hero or whatever. And then they set the headset down and it collects dust. How do you think that we switch consumer minds to thinking about it to this prolonged standpoint where the retention can be much more than like a one and done experience?
I think it really comes into, finding experiences that have repeatability. So, for example, obviously it's a gaming experience, but one of the things I like about Beat Saber in particular is its repeatability. Like, you don't just go, like, I've played Beat Saber number of times, because every time you go in, they're adding more content to it, they're updating it, there's new songs, there's that desire to go and perfect certain songs. Like, I still cannot beat Sandstorm. That is a very hard song to play, but I try and I go back and I try it again, and I try different methods. So having experiences in Allspace VR that promote and generate an interest and get people to want to go back, that's where it is, and creating this longevity, and creating content that has that repeatability, so you don't just go in once and go, oh, okay, that's it. You go in and maybe monthly events. If you're going to do Allspace VR, have events that you can go to that there's more than just one. That's what we've been doing with our clients, where we tell them, like, one event's great, but maybe you should start doing like a monthly event, or even just a smaller weekly one. Like, you don't have to do these big 300, 400 person events. They're great and they're awesome and they look super cool, but there's also the offsites. Like, you could have like team offsites where your team comes in and maybe it's just 12 of you, and you're doing some party games, just the 12 of you. So those are just some ideas as far as, like, as you were saying, JP, getting people to come back to Altspace VR. So providing content that has that repeatability, that's kind of the big one.
Thanks. Nice. Okay, and so in wrapping up, Giuseppe, what is holding you back right now? So, like, what I heard from you there is talking about the repeatability and sort of that education process. Inside your company, one thing that we surfaced last time was that people are, thanks to all of this metaverse hype that's going on, they're not having hard type opening conversations, but closing deals is where the bottleneck is. Are you facing that as well, or do you have a different kind of constraint or
I think
challenge?
the biggest challenge that we're seeing is the level of onboarding that our clients need to, like, really get into Altspace or just VR in general. There's, because, this is a new technology. So, I will say this, the hardware has gotten significantly easier to use over the years. Back in 2015 when we started, getting a VR headset put together, first off, it was all PC based. There was no standalone headsets at that time. None that were as robust as, like, the MetaQuest 2 or the MetaQuest Pro that's out. Though the types of headsets you had back then were like the HTC Vive, Oculus Rift, and the setup process just to get those headsets going was significant, like at least an hour plus. Now with the Quest 2, you're looking at 15 minutes max. However, for people who aren't super technologically savvy, getting them into a headset is definitely one of our areas that we are looking to improve upon. We've created video content, for our clients and PDFs, and we've actually hosted remote onboarding sessions via Zoom and Teams, and that's certainly helped, but that's not very scalable when you're bringing on like thousands of people to VR. So
let me ask something.
Oh, go ahead.
Let's leverage Stephen while he's here. I don't know if he can talk about anything like this, but like, even how far are we from being able to just put the headset on and it works? You know what I mean? Like you pick up an iPhone, you unlock it, and you can use it. You know what I mean?
Don't pick up an iPhone and unlock it and you use it. You have to set up your iPhone as well, especially the first time if you cast your mind back. I didn't want to answer the question. I didn't have an answer to the question. I was hoping you guys would come up with it.
I will say this, I just want to back you up, Steve. I will say this: the Quest 2 hardware isn't really the point, the choke point for us. Lately, it's been the apps themselves, the actual software, and I think with that, one of the areas that I would like to see some improvement on over the years, is maybe the tutorial, for example, like a tutorial for the app, maybe built into the experience itself, so that you don't feel like you have to do this whole tutorial experience before going in. Does that make any sense, or am I off?
I think a lot of it, I mean, I think you're right. I think a lot of it, I don't know, interoperability is not the right word, but essentially, like how seamlessly you can move from one experience to another is a big issue. Like we're all used
Yeah.
to browser tabs and that sort of thing, right? And I can
Right.
copy my information, move it to here, move it to there, and now we're in this back, honestly, to a world where it is like these discrete applications, and
Like
they don't
going,
necessarily
like
connect.
when you go to engage, the user experience and the way you move about the space is pretty different than, let's say, alt space. And having that back and forth of going from like, this is how you use this app, this is how you use this app, this is how. Whereas if there was some way to create almost like have some standard practices for the applications that
Is the
are like,
plumbing
okay,
of the internet.
Yeah.
That's the next thing.
yeah, a
right?
little bit like with the
So-
internet. Like when you go to one website and another, there are certain aspects to those websites that are pretty standard. Like I don't have to
Yep.
wonder if a button is a hyperlink because it'll be
Let me
blue.
give you.
I'll know that.
Let me give you a little story. Let me give you a little
Yeah.
story from what we're doing, guys. So we have just sent a headset to our contact at NASA to evaluate
Excellent.
the feasibility of doing workouts in space. Okay, astronauts doing workouts in VR in space. Okay, it is a friggin' dream project, dream kind of inspirational kind of thing. But like, I'm gonna have to sit on the phone with him on a video call and just like walk him through it. Okay, put the headset on. Okay, now open the app, download the app, jump through the hoops, this and that. I'm gonna like literally guide him through because there's still a very high bar to for a complete non-user. Okay, so he's used the HoloLens quite a bit, but it's a whole different thing, and getting the app and getting them paired up and this and that. So like, it's gonna probably take like about an hour to be able to demo our software to him.
Yeah.
So I can
think
speak
we
to
also-
that.
I think we also need some new user experiences. So if you look at the new user experience, certainly on Meta devices, it's very much for gamers. Right? The assumption is you're starting from a game, you've got knowledge about how games work, and you're just adept at technology. Like you look at the controllers we're all holding, right? They're gaming controllers. There's no question of it. So the new user experiences we have today assume that level of knowledge, and now we have to kind of go, we need to assume a completely new level of knowledge because these people are not starting from that place. They're starting from somewhere altogether other. Maybe they're starting from zero. Probably not. Everybody's got a mobile device. Maybe we need to get people more thinking along those lines, and thinking also, the user experience. Certainly, again, I'm just talking about on a Meta device. New user experience is very oriented to let's get to playing, let's get to socializing, which is all fine. But I think we also need to let's get to being productive, let's get to collaborating, let's get to building things or whatever it is we need to do. So in part, it's just going to be starting to talk to people in a very different way. We all think, oh, VR, we're done, but it's not. It's only done for gamers, guys. Like, and I know you guys have been working at this longer than we have. Introducing work and adding VR to work. From what we've been doing, and we're the ones doing it at scale. It's all been for games, right? So that conversation has to change.
Andre, you have your hand up?
I'm guessing you're on the
Yeah,
MetaQuest Pro.
Did I?
Yeah, what a
again?
mistake.
I'm guessing you're on the MetaQuest
No,
Pro.
no. I just
The
wanted
Pro
to
now, yeah.
compliment,
Right.
a
Me
little
too.
bit
It's fun.
on the
Cool, yeah,
part.
right. I like it, yeah. No, it's really good fun.
Yeah, so I recently onboarded like 10 or 15 my colleagues on our team get together. It cost me like several hours. I basically developed a sequence of like how to spend like only 5 minutes to explain person like the first VR. But it still takes at least 10 if you are next to the person. And there are two concerns. First is that physical safety, especially for the first user, because they have to be aware of the environment. And second is that you cannot see, you are not on the same page with the people in VR when even you are next to them. So you kind of need the second headset, but you also start to interfere with how I can be in your user interface in order to guide you through the onboarding part. That's the really challenge. Yeah.
I have a couple of things like so if you have like gotten it down to 5 to 10 minutes, you need to like document, bottle that shit and sell it or something, because that is like remarkable. I'll tell you, Accenture, 65,000 headsets deployed. I can't imagine what kind of drama they're going through to manage that kind of deployment. One of the people we're in touch with, so we're in touch with them for VR Workout. We're also in touch with the Seattle Public Schools. They have 100 headsets, and I'm like, so how do you run a headset deployment in like a classroom setting? He's like, honestly, it is so difficult. Like even anything more than 10, even 10 is like is still tricky. Getting everyone synced up and so we're working towards that future where it's just like a seamless kind of thing and everyone can just come in and so we're still in the early days of that. I'm sure we can all relate to that.
Yeah, absolutely agree on that. But Quest Pro would help with that, at least because it eases for people the first experience, because you basically put in your augmented reality
Nice.
Glasses, and then you can transition actually in fully isolated. Yeah, fully isolated.
Nice. Okay, so let's move on. Yeah, go
Alice,
ahead.
can I just jump in for a second? Because there is one thing
Yes.
I've seen really work, and I'm still trying to understand what the implications are. But a few months ago, so we've got this new sales team coalescing around Quest for Business. There's a lot of new people coming into a particular org. So, new people learning how this all works. And we had an onboarding session for about 16 of the direct sales people from around the world. And maybe half of them been into VR in any meaningful way. And I bet that half had never done very much. They'd probably popped on and done another, but none of them were gamers or anything like that. So, realistically, what we were doing is getting 16 people in the same room into VR probably for the first time. Not an ideal experience, but I was struck by how effective it was. And what we ended up doing was guided meditation led by somebody from Trip in Horizon World. And, what I think was really interesting about that was it created this sense of community, right? Like I wasn't just going in by myself. It also was, while there was community, it wasn't a meeting or something, so it didn't feel dry. It felt like this thing that I was having, this new experience that I couldn't really have in the world with people I trusted and knew, and kind of put them into
Can
this
you do a guided
space.
meditation now?
No, I can't do a guided meditation. You are talking
Come on,
to altogether the wrong sort
Go
of
on
person.
stage, go by the DJ area.
But I think it's interesting because really, am I taking 10 minutes to get people onboarded so they can be ready to do a meeting? Or is it more important to land the idea that there is this sense of community, there's this sense of presence, and that we can do these different things? I really think, it's probably more valuable to give people a sense of wonder and togetherness and to understand, how I'm going to be able to run a meeting or whatever it might be. First time. I think that's probably the value of it. Don't teach people how to do it necessarily. Teach them why they should be doing it. Teach them to appreciate it. Teach them to understand that there's something additional here.
That's awesome. That's
Very
awesome.
cool.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. One thing that I've been wanting to do with this thing here, so like I have this application form survey form where people can share what they want us to talk about. So a bunch of people, I think like 7 people filled it in, but only one of them has showed up, which is Andreas over there in Vienna.
Yay!
And representing. Now, one thing I wanted to do is and Stephen, this is speaking to what you're talking about, not so much a guided meditation, although that is my sort of jam, but and not so much a workout, which is also my jam. But I was thinking one thing that we can do in VR that we can't do in other spaces or other platforms like friggin' Zoom, which is the one we're always referring to, is, for example, everyone who has something they want to share with the group, please come on this side of the room. Everyone who just wants to listen, come on this side of the room. Okay, so Andreas has something he wants to share. Okay, hey guys, don't be shy. DL. Kidding. Okay, so now what we've done is like sorted everyone into one little thing that you can't really friggin' do on Zoom. Now I know that I need to be prioritizing. Otherwise, I would have gone round robin. So that's a pretty cool thing.
Watch,
Okay.
watch it there with that round robin business.
No, you're very slim.
Hey-oh.
Yeah, so that's a cool thing. You know, we can also do like the hand raises, but you can also do the hand raising, but you can do two hands. Everyone stand up, everyone sit down, you know, that kind of thing. Hold two hands up, kind of cool shit like that. So, okay, so that's something else that I wanted to like add to what Steve was saying. Sophia, okay, we've split the room into two sections. People who have something they want to share on this side, and people who are just watching this side.
Okay.
I feel in the middle. Maybe I'll move this way. I'm uncertain.
Exactly.
I don't think I like this being split up
Yeah, I'm
thing.
with Alex.
Because it makes me feel less inclusive.
Hold on a sec. Okay, so someone just called me. Sorry about that. Okay, so Robin's spirit animal is Godzilla, by the way. FYI, be careful. Andy, since you filled in the form, I said anyone who fills in the form. Oh.
Hey Alex, sorry, you asked me to turn up. I am quite a bit up, so I really think the problem is the spatial audio, and I don't know if we want to just have the room setting maybe louder or 2D.
megaphone.
It depends if we're all talking to a group, it's better to do the 2D thing, but if we all want to talk off in the corners, it's better to pop 3D on.
I agree. So as like I'm trying to make sure everyone gets the megaphone. As if you can help with that, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Let's give Andy.
Andy also has his hand raised because he's following the whole pipeline, you know, the forms and hand raise. So
Feel free to get yourself a drink, Robin, as well. Good. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll get a drink. That will for sure help out.
Exactly.
Oh,
The edge off.
Pretty fine choices.
Yeah. Okay. Robin doesn't drink in real life, by the way. So. Okay, guys.
It's not like
Over to Andy.
can or anything. I'm just over it.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Steve.
I think you should click on it instead of.
The drink doesn't want me. Apparently, that's rude.
Yeah, there you go. You have it.
Steve, are still there? I think he froze. Steve froze.
Oh, still here.
Freeze effect now.
I do.
Okay, so I take over. As Steve invited us to give a little comment and a status about where we stand and what we are up to. Sorry.
Yeah, be careful about the drinks.
Yeah,
That's what happens after you drink too much.
First, I want to take the chance to say thank you to Steve, because Steve once in this masterclass gave me the tip that you need to get the people into the devices. And that's what we concentrated on, and it really helped. Thanks, Steve. Also, I found out that one of our dear members of this club, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, but he's a VR training producer from London. He's not here today, but yeah, Alex, maybe you know his name. Yeah.
Which can give me another clue. Another clue.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He's sending regularly newsletters, and what they are doing now is they are sending out sales crew. They are sending them around Great Britain, equipped with devices to get the people into the devices and sell VR experiences. I think that's a very nice thing to do. And yeah, so what I ended up into now is the following. We have in my agency, in my company, we have focused on building VR and AR experiences mostly for marketing and sales purposes. But and we thought, yeah, it would be a good thing to focus onto one thing to do. But then after now 1 or 2 years doing that a lot, we grew up there in that field. and anything runs well. But we found out that there's a huge problem going on because building VR experiences is actually everything, you know. You have sound, you have design, you have architecture, and everything you can imagine that a human designer or, you know, humans can build, and it's just a hell of a lot to do. And so to really do that, you need a team of, I don't know, 50 people or so, which I don't have. So we need to concentrate again into something more narrow into VR. And that's just the status, and would be happy to hear on that. Maybe you went through that already. Anyway.
Does anyone have anything to share? Robin, especially you.
I actually had a lot of trouble hearing half of what he said, unfortunately, because it was cutting out. I wasn't really sure if that was me or you guys heard that okay?
Yeah, it sounded okay to me. Maybe you should re-enter.
The question, Andy, that would help.
Yeah, it was okay to me.
It's also here, guys. If you can see my screen up there. You were saying? Too much effort to build complete worlds. I think he was speaking to that there, which is like you need a full team.
Yeah. I can see why you tossed it over.
To do that, and not 10.
No, you don't need 50 people to do that. You need an extension network of people that you can rely on from strategic partnerships to fill in the gaps of your organization.
Exactly.
That's how we survive.
Just like 3-pound games.
We have 17 people, and we get an incredible amount of stuff done. Because I don't keep like concept artists lying around, because why would I do that? I could just, go pick this person. I got a whole bunch of people that I love their concept art, and I just grab them when I need them. And there's certain roles like that. I mean, eventually, sure, we might end up with some of those roles on our team as we kind of get even bigger. But I don't think it's a good idea for any of us to get that big. Like that 50-person team, now you're just spending your whole day trying to figure out how you're going to feed them. And that's not really fun for you as the CEO. Or do you get to have some fun, right?
Yeah.
What is your main work right now?
So we are building VR experiences that are focused on reaching KPIs in sales and marketing. Yeah.
Okay, so you're
Using
doing
VR to help you sell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not
Like
my own sales, but the sales of my customers.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So your typical client is like, I'm selling shoes, and you're going to give me an experience that helps me sell those shoes, and then show you KPIs around the fact that somebody was interested in that shoe, and not so much that shoe over there.
I don't think we're quite ready for shoes, guys.
Give it time, people. Give it time. Let's not forget that Allspace was bought by Microsoft.
we blame
That shit's
Microsoft.
going
Yeah,
down.
nice.
2023, baby. I predict it. There's going to be some serious shit going down for Microsoft in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And way too many data
Nice.
points.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I would say another thing, Andy, is like
I hug you, but I
building
can't hug you.
on top of existing
Yay!
platforms. What are you using now? You're building everything raw in old space, or you're kind of like building on top of existing platforms like this or Engage or whatever? What's the
Me
distribution?
and my team. No, we are
Yeah.
building stuff from scratch in Unity. Because
Yeah.
we need all that quality going on.
What is your
Say
so
keep like a 10% allocation on R&D of what other people are doing in the different platforms. Like in this community, I've personally seen like, you saw two guys last time, Philippe Lewicki, who has his presentation software. You have the other guy who had his training software. That's also speaking to Alex Gold's issue. That's, people are trying to solve this. It's just a matter of, do you know about it? Like Alex Goldberg's thing for people who came late was he's doing heavy engineering, aerospace engineering at Blue Origin, head of XR there. And there's just like no interoperability between the models and the sort of like XR experiences. So there's like a 1 week lag in getting something from model stage into a shared experience. And there are people trying to solve that problem. It's just like, do we know about them? And so that's another thing that we've uncovered, I guess. How do we find out about what's going
Thank you for
on?
mentioning that. Thank you for circling back to that. You know, there's something else that I didn't mention to you guys about companies like Blue Origin. That is the GCC high limitation. We are part of Government Community Cloud. It's a special Azure environment for higher security because we're a defense contractor technically. So it makes it, besides the stuff that Alex was just mentioning, and I really appreciated that, there's that extra added wrench thrown into the mix of the secure cloud services. So there are a lot of breakthrough technologies working on that interoperability, but that as well as playing friendly with GCC high is tricky. So just throwing that out there too. There's players like us that need to be in secure environments. So.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Alex, I just had a
Yes.
great conversation on that with Shelly Peterson. Do you remember her?
Oh, Shelly's awesome. I love her.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah. So she was telling me about some of the ways that they got around that with HoloLens and that sort of thing. And I was like, oh yeah, of course. Like we got to keep everything tight in. I got off topic in the conversation talking about rail. 'Cause I've had a lot of opportunities in rail, and they get really strung out about things like security in even the most overarching ways of, oh my God, these devices are made in China. And I'm like, your phone is too, right? It's the same stuff. Because it's a known, tried, tested path. And all of these things I think could be pretty easily resolved with just like, keeping stuff inside the network. There's no reason for data to leave the network. It's just mapping it all out like a network diagram. So yeah, I mean,
Cool.
I'd be more than happy to pull up a lucid chart with you and draw up a diagram. That'd be fun.
There's a back room over there.
Backroom. We've been in a lot of back
okay.
rooms together.
Moving on, guys. Over to Kaban. He's a new friend from Rotterdam. From Rotterdam VR Days the other week, and he has a successful game studio, 50 people plus, based in Poland, and is working on something friggin' really awesome that I got a glimpse of. Do you want to share? Or do you want me to bring anything up on the screen here? Oh.
Hold on a second. I think you're a little bit choppy. Is it just for me?
He was good for me.
Yeah, he was good for me too.
Okay, I'll re-enter.
I don't know. I hope you will hear me.
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm from Poland. We decided to go VR 7 years ago, and we created Carbon Studio. So the first years we were, focused on the VR games. We created the Wizard series, everything about magic in your hands, and right now we are trying to bring tools for other developers, not only from VR but from whole development and also metaverse, everything. And we decided to go for the AI-based tools like deep learning AIs. You will probably know some of graphic content generators like Midjourney or others. Like you're writing prompt and it's creating image from what you wanted to have. So we started from something like that with rocks, but now we are trying to develop tool to create the whole world. Like imagine if you want to create the island and you are just typing or saying, and with saying like, oh, create islands for me. And the AI is learning how to create the island right now. So right now we are pretty successful with the first stage of the the project, because right now we can speed up things very well inside the company. Now we are trying to find a way how to scale the product, create the product from our tool, and go for the market and provide tool for other developers.
I'll tell you guys, following on from that, I saw a rough presentation, and the stuff looks dope. Robin, anyone involved in like?
I will try to find something to share with you. Maybe 2 minutes. I will.
If you email it, I can open it up on the screen. But like the shit is looking pretty dope, in terms of like you build some rocks in a pool and an ocean and stuff, and it just generates it. It's pretty awesome.
Okay,
so go ahead and find that
link. Yeah.
Alex has been, this is a really exciting part of the sort of like next steps in 3D is when all this AI art that's been taking the world by storm the last few months starts becoming something that we can actually use in VR, and it's going to happen before we know it, thanks to people like you, Alexander, and
I guess we moved on. Just to understand, so what is the out of this? Is it like Unity Steam or build? Those walls built or be deployed on which platform?
Good question. Okay. Good question.
Sorry, could you repeat? Yes, now you can hear me?
What is
Yeah.
the output of those walls? Is it like the Unity build, or is it a 3D model of the wall? Like, how do you publish this?
Right now, it's working based on the Unreal Engine in general. Like, you are creating it inside the engine, and you use the API for like some kind of the API for a 3D software or 2D software, something like that, to create models, or draw the path on the island where you want to go. And after that, it's creating the whole 3D scene, or just a 3D object with texture, with everything. It works like it's learning. So now it can create the base shapes with 10 or 12 different type of rocks, and 2 different biomes, like volcanic something and Central European ice, something like that. But still, it's learning the base of that. You can use it inside Unreal Engine, or you can export it to the anything external, not Unreal, like FBX.
Okay, thank you. Nice. Okay, so while you're looking that up, Alexander, what would you like to share with everyone? He's on our team at VR Workout on the creative side. What would you like to share with everyone?
Yeah, I'm used to work on Unreal Engine. I know a bit of AI. Can you hear me good?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Cool. So I'm very interested in the subject. So I like what you're saying. I'm used to export it also, and to bring stuff to spatial and create stuff in there also. Animations, BX animated, GLTF. So I'm getting some stuff for VR workouts also. We're like doing some customizable things. And let's see. I'm very eager to understand the interoperability of all the space we have right now. The other day I was checking like a masterclass with some people from Exclusive. They were talking about their work also. So it's on top of spatial, and they have a lot of work, and their work like talking about their work, like the sales also. like out there sales for penthouse and to communicate with the fashion also. So I think the metaverse is like this interoperability of all the spaces and like imagine like 2 days ago special put on like the creative toolkits for everybody knows how to work in there, you know. So this is gonna help a lot for us in VR and for Web3 and Web2 also for mass adoption.
Yeah, of course. That's our idea to have the tool to speed up everything in development of the games and
You should get Alex to help you. Testing. You guys should link up for sure. I'll do an
Absolutely.
intro.
But we are
sure, for
before beta tests, but I think in the QA in the first Q of the next year we should be ready to do that. Okay, I will be back in 2 minutes. I have to send it to share the video with you. I will be back very soon.
Send it by email, yeah?
Yep.
Cool. Okay, so what we've done, we've completed the cycle. Okay, Andre is leaving us. Thanks for joining, bro.
Yeah, thanks for inviting
Be
me.
in
It's a
touch.
great session. Good to meet you guys. Yeah, we'll keep in touch.
Next time.
See you next
Alex, I have to go
See you
too.
later.
Okay.
I have to
Hugs.
Hey everybody, it was so nice meeting meeting you here. Hope
This was
everybody
his
has a
first time
great
in Old
day.
Space.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
believe it or not, yeah. Kind of embarrassed about that. Thanks for bringing that up.
You know, you're a natural. Look, you got the avatar customized.
Yeah, exactly. You have a customized avatar. That's a good indicator.
No, thank you. I do use VR a lot. It's just my first time in Altspace, and I'll be back. Everyone have a great day.
Bye,
Take
bro.
care. Bye bye.
Ciao. Yeah, nice to meet you.
We come behind the Microsoft wall.
Cool. Ozzy, what would you like to share?
Oh, nothing much. I was just listening and trying to understand who could help who or who could team up. I really like the idea of pipeline. I think with onboarding process, it would be important to, because this area is rather new. I think there's always always a standard pipeline for adopting something. Only the intuitives or people who like to experiment go first, or technically advanced people, and then to drag more people into it. I think it would be good to do some things like those trips with VR headsets to show people around. I do that all the time when people come to visit my house. I always offer them to have an introduction into VR. Judging by their background, I try to apply different applications. So if somebody is new to VR, I always offer them something. And mostly I have female friends, and that's why I always offer them the meditation experience, because it's not as it's like a lower point of entry, so that way people can experience first things. I think that it's going to be a good idea to use mobile phones as the way to enter the VR world. So I've seen a couple of examples where there was a 360 world of compiled of different pictures of Van Gogh. So you could just use your phone to enter that link and see around the place just using your phone. So that could be like a lower stage of the way for people to get involved into VR. And some simple applications
Let me ask one thing.
Yeah.
But following what Azi's saying about the pipeline stuff mainly, I don't know if you can hear us, Alex, but we were like trying to find a nice world to have this gathering in, and I'm telling you, in the next, I make a prediction, in the next 6 months, we're going to be able to say, okay, make a space like a Greek amphitheater on an island, on a jungle island, and then like it's gonna generate in 3D.
Looking forward to it.
Seeing that.
Yeah, I was looking for it for a long time when I was studying AI in
I
2020.
don't
I'm
know if it's
like,
going to be alt space compatible. Not going to be alt space compatible into a platform, but I think we'll be able to generate the core assets. What, do you think that's coming up, Robin?
That's possible today. I mean that's not hard. It's not hard to say, go AI, figure out language processing, and then pick a model based on that from a subset of query return. What's hard about VR isn't making a simple space that you can do some interactivity. It's the interaction. It's all the other stuff. That's why there's a lot of adoption issues with stuff like AltSpace. Like this is just a meeting room. I can't do
Yeah.
much with this meeting room other than meet. I require
Yeah.
people for emerging
and vomit from
That's
drinks.
why, we get into like the deeper programming stuff and why there's still a need for, VR applications versus metaverse applications. But we're gonna meet in the middle soon. Like science space is really pretty kicking, and the
No, wait, hold on. So you're saying that scenario I just painted is already here? Of being able
I
to
mean,
generate a 3D scene?
I feel like that's totally doable today. Whether someone's actually done it is a different story, but like I don't see why not.
I mean, yeah, all the parts exist. One of them we
Yeah.
will see, I think, by Kevin presented in 1 minute or so. But all the parts are here, but only this one certain
mean,
prompt
it's literally
interface he was
what we
mentioning is
do.
not there.
Yeah, it's literally what we do anyway. Like I write music, right? So what do I do when I'm writing music? I'm not gonna sit around and find a way to hit a cello and record a cello. No, I'm gonna go to my instruments library and I'm gonna pick a cello instrument. Then I'm gonna say, what's the kind of phrase I'm looking for, the type of phrase, what's the beats and all that sort of thing. I'm gonna go through my library and I'm gonna pick a phrase and I'm gonna then co-opt that phrase to then use as part of my musical composition, which is all we do with AI too, is we're saying, I'm trying to describe a way to get into a piece that I want that fits my vision. So that's all there.
Guys?
It's what Midjourney is really doing for you. If you know how to describe what you want really well, you could get a good result. Just like you do with a concept artist, just like you can do with AI. If you can describe it well, you can get a good result.
Yep, great point.
See this?
Not yet. Still your the application form.
Really? The form?
I see
The tabs. Check the tabs.
The Andreas left one. I think it's just
If you switch to the
It's in
new
full
tab,
Screen mode.
sweet time to respond here, as it does sometimes.
check the tabs. If you clicked on it and it opened a new tab, I would recommend to copy paste it into this tab that is attached to the web projector, or just turn the web projector on a different tab. Okay, now you see the movement.
There we go.
Is it working?
Yes, it's really impressive. Hold on. Let me give you a megaphone.
The right side.
Come on. Let me amplify you so everybody can hear you. There.
Okay, thank you. So it's creating and learning, for example, about the sun position and how it do erosion on the rocks or on the where moss should be, and you can choose between different type of the rocks biomes of that, and also how the coast should look on the near the ocean with the much more hydro erosion and others. And of course, that's you can generate it on the painting. On the beginning of that, it was a painting like 2D pattern. If you, Alex, could you move on the stop on the beginning of the movie? On the right side, you can see we are changing the pattern on the 2D graphic, but it could be generated by AI and can describe it in the few words. And also it could, for example, see where is the best way to create a road or path for the player inside the map, or where is the best point of interest from where you can look on from every part of the island. Also, that's only one part, because the second part is to create rocks. You can choose very simple rocks like box, only a box, and from boxes create the base shape of the island, and it will create rock based on the type of the rock. But also you can paint like in the voxel painting to create the shape of the rock. But it's still a work in progress. It should be ready now. To create. Okay, I need the rock or mountain looking like that and with the hole inside. So to improve the speed of creation, like you said about the tools journey and about being composer musician. I think it's only a tool. Every AI should
Okay,
be a
wait,
tool.
wait. Andreas has his hand up.
Sorry.
Is that on purpose?
No, sorry, was just
It was a mistake.
applauding.
I want to ask Robin. I want to ask Robin for her feedback, because she is your primary client from this group here for that kind of thing. What did you think about that?
I'm all about helper tools, absolutely. I mean, we're a Unity shop, so it's not going to be very helpful what you're doing for us for right now. But in general, we use tools all the time that in the vein of this without the AI part. Like there's a bunch of tools that if I want to take a bunch of objects, I can shove them into a paintbrush and I can just paint this whole landscape with flowers or whatever. Then you do that random distribution based on, different curves and things that you choose. And you're just taking it to the next step further, which some game developers are going to be resistant on, because if some other program is setting my path, they're changing my path.
No. It could. It could.
It could,
Again,
yeah. And other developers, right. Yeah, I
it's
agree,
not necessary to
Other
use it,
developers
right?
will be like, hell yeah, just give me
Yeah,
a
absolutely,
level.
absolutely.
We're fighting on this level. It's actually exciting if I get something random that I don't know what I want.
That's
Yeah.
totally agree.
Mm.
Totally agree. Absolutely. I'm 3D. I used to be 3D artist by myself, so I'm a creator. But for example, for me, it's like I have a tool to speed up repetitive things. Like I'm not necessary to create again and again the same rock, or because I can do a lot of modification, or I can use it as a base to speed up things and see maybe not the final effect yet. Not in the instant, but in the minutes to create an and of course you can do that thing or similar things with the algorithms or tools, but still every algorithm has to be programmed by human. So every new environment have to be programmed before using that. And now it's with every new tool or every new feature, it's speeding up how it learns and how fast it's getting knowledge about new environment or new type of rocks or new something. And in general, it's not fully deep learning AI, because it's also sometimes based on the algorithm, but still sometimes it's surprising us when, for example, it learns somehow how to create base patterns on the floor. Just
Did you see the video?
that.
Yeah,
Sorry?
that's definitely a big advantage there, because a lot of times, like, setting up a big scene is pretty easy as a designer, because you already know what you wanted, you already had it all mapped out, and it's just putting a bunch of objects in there.
This is software
Then you
building.
spend 15 hours, like, getting all the trees just right, or going around and fixing the edging, and just dumb stuff that you don't need to be really doing, because you're right, you should be able to figure it out, like, I put this next to the water. What should happen? Erosion, of course, right?
Nice.
Yep. Thank you for feedback.
Yeah, no, I'm
So-
impressed
so
with
what-
what you're doing. Unfortunately, Adriel can be a blocker for me, or otherwise I'd be interested in trying
Are
to
you
help
raising
you.
capital right now? You're going to start a round?
Not yet. We will start in January, I think. I hope with your help, Alex.
Yes. That's what you wanted to speak about?
Yep, that's what the
Okay, let's
main
go.
reason.
Let's go.
I mean, also, I'm very interested in testing it with my team because actually what you have bringing in was a kind of solution to my problem I've been bringing here. Alex and Kevin, maybe you can set it up if there is some will of you given that you need some testing partners. Yeah, Vienna is just an
Absolutely.
hour away or 5 at least. Yeah, cool.
Sure.
I'd be happy to chat with you more about fundraising too. You're interested.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, Sophia, Sophia is on the Meta team. Did you have your chance to speak, by the way? Kind of late, but
No.
I've had nothing really to speak about. Hi.
Hi, let me give you a microphone. Hold on.
Do you know Robin? You guys know each other?
I think we've met like 4 or 5 different times in little micro somethings.
Yeah. Yeah, but we never gotten a chance to actually like talk to each other. So hi.
We should really fix that. We should definitely have a
I
proper
know.
conversation.
I've been on several calls recently with Lauren, actually.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
that's awesome.
I'm
Okay.
I'm trying to like lure Sophia in to work with VR Workout. You know, like reel her in kind of thing. So Robin, you're welcome. You're welcome to help with that. Yeah, Robin is the bait. Robin is the bait.
We actually just pushed the QA build up today, so it's now it's blackout time for Meta, but it'll be like first of the year getting into the QA process. Exciting.
I'm so excited! Congratulations, guys! Alex just gave me beta access to the build, so I'm excited to try it out. Actually, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
there's gonna be some more polish on that over the next few weeks as we because the final, I'll put the air quotes in there. Final is more like January 11th, so there'll be some more polish items in there for sure. But like, yeah, it's working pretty great and it's very exciting and it's on the path to awesomeness.
Everyone has to try it. Everyone in this chat here has to try it. Please.
How many people can you get into one instance, like to play together?
Let's find out.
All right.
Well, the limitation currently isn't so much around like the photon or whatever. It's more around the comfort level of the fact that you're on these platforms. So, it's very comfortable to have like 3 or 4 people because you can see them on platforms easily. And you're like, hey, over there, you got your own cues coming at you, so you don't want too much noise in the scene.
Sure.
And that sort of thing. But we have a lot of cool features we're talking about for more social stuff too, with emotes and stuff like that, so you can kind of compete with your friends and have a little bit of fun and stuff. But there's definitely a lot of polish that can be done and a lot of ways that we can go about getting more social interaction in there. First, it's like get a solid quality product out there and go from there. But the AR version is a lot of fun because like I'm in my Quest Pro, and to see the room while you're looking through like essentially what is like a portal of the application feels really nice.
I agree.
That's
that was
awesome.
fun.
Yeah, I was telling Alex that Meta is especially now. Well, they're always looking for use cases, especially those that were funded by Meta, and then especially even more so now because of the Quest Pro, finding applications that utilize that MR capabilities. So, yeah.
We should talk more. We should talk more about that. I actually have a pitch for an enhanced version of Vault of Stars that takes advantage of some of the AR capabilities of like when you die, you actually are back in your room and the portal's up there. You have to fly back into the game.
Nice.
Right. Super cool.
No one did that. No one did that, right?
As far as I know.
Someone has to
This
do it.
weird. Like a lot of this stuff's all pretty.
You died. You're back in your chair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super
really
cool.
And then the angel comes out of your right.
Yeah, I mean, you are energy in this game, so you are a bit essentially a ball of light, and the fact that you then reconstitute back into your room would make a lot of sense that you died and now you have to go back into the game. We're also really going to take advantage of the foveated rendering. This is a really high definition, deep game. It's really intense. So that to be able to actually use foveated rendering and get some of the graphics back, like atmospheric fog that changes based on how much you cleanse the island, really deep condition stuff.
That's awesome.
Yes, we should talk about that. There's good stuff to go on there for sure.
And there's a lot of news around these, big hardware companies like Apple and Meta or whatever, they're with huge focus on fitness applications. So, I know it's a big like, VR for good, public policy type of in general is all this
Nice.
goodness for people and elderly
What
people and all
else?
this stuff. So yeah.
Sophia, like considering this is like a group of friends here,
Hey, man.
what nothing that you can tell us nothing you tell us that's confidential or anything, but what insights or info do you have from Meta from your side? What interesting stuff? Okay,
From
you just said
Meta?
something about fitness or the industry
Um,
in general, because you're an industry connector as well.
Yeah, I'll say a couple things. For those of you that don't know too much about me, I've been in the industry for 7 years. I co-host the VR Air Association's podcast. So if any of you guys want a spot on the podcast, if specifically if
yeah.
there's something like cool you guys are releasing or like any cool accomplishments, that would be a cool time for a spot on the podcast. We have about 500,000 listens so far, so we get good traction there. Um, and the Polly's WebXR Awards, which I help co-host with Julie Smithson, and Ben Irwin as the producer, is being hosted in March at a facility called Zero Space in Brooklyn. And I think we're talking to Rob and Steam about potentially being a part of that production as well. So it's even more
Oh yeah,
reason for
I'm
us
definitely
to.
coming out. The XR Women event at Zero Space was so much fun. It was so great.
Did you
I
go?
can't wait to get back out there.
She
Yeah, it was a
presented.
good time.
Oh, nice.
She presented. Yeah. Yeah.
I want to
that's the first
present next
I-
time.
Yeah. Right.
Well, what happened was it was very last
Haha,
minute
LOL.
because I was sitting in my room. I was planning to go anyway, and I'm looking around and I'm like, I have a Pico 4 and an Oculus Quest Pro. Who in the United States has this stuff? And I'm thinking,
Seriously.
you know what? I should pack this stuff up and bring it with me and let people try it out so they can check. Because people always asking me, like, oh, what's the difference? How are those pancake lenses? And I'm like, why don't I
Yeah.
just answer all these
And I'll
questions?
tell you,
So I put on a whole
not
presentation.
much. The color passer of Pico for me is like 90% of the color passer of the Quest Pro, but like a quarter of the price or something.
Oh,
Right?
even the 4? It's not that different. There's a bit of a weird distortion on the Pico 4 that
Still
So
though, not
I
three
saw
times
that
the.
there's distortions,
you know?
yeah, in the pictures I was looking at. I actually was tasked to do a compare contrast between some of these devices, and you actually I took a picture of what you had presented because you did exactly that.
right?
And that was awesome. But so I'm a little confused. So there's Pico. There's a bunch of different Picos. Like there's the Pico 4. There's like an I or something. Then there's the Enterprise version or something that's coming out, which is and then that's coming to America, I think, right? The Enterprise version. And
Yeah,
but it
there's
can't do
I got a
facial
little wink,
tracking.
wink, nudge, nudges on that one. Yeah, for sure. For sure,
Okay.
there's going to be announcements for Pico, and I'm not sure if the Enterprise one's going to make it over sooner than the just Pico 4. This Pico 4, the one that I have here, is like I think it's been $550 maybe, something like that. Pretty competitive on the pricing. But that Enterprise one might make it go faster just because there's money in it. But it's easier money to go get.
So do you think enterprises and consumers in the U.S. will be more prone towards towards getting into the Pico versus Meta because they both, I guess, it's like picking the lesser of two evils in terms of data and privacy and security and all that stuff, right? So I wonder how that's gonna go.
What's really messed up though is like, so Americans in general, yeah, they know about Facebook and they're tracking my data and selling me as a product, and they're really well versed on those talking points, but they're not even thinking about the fact that Pico's owned by TikTok and that's basically owned by the Chinese government. Oh, okay.
It's so funny.
But I
So
have an
funny.
answer to that from Europe, because I always wonder. Well,